Hey folks, David Stewart here. Yes, you too can get six-pack abs for just 5 minutes a day following this one simple trick. The trick is have a diet in which your body fat decreases until your abs are visible. That's the secret to abs. Abs are made in the kitchen, not the gym, but this is a great entry point to a bigger thing that I want to talk about, which is selling people shortcuts which actually don't exist. So if you were like me, and maybe you're around my age or a little bit younger, a little bit older, you grew up watching a lot of TV at random times, and there were always these ads for all of these different fitness products, and they were all pretty ridiculous. But most of them promised some sort of output in some minimal amount of time. You too can get six-pack abs for just 5 minutes a day. Crazy devices. I remember this device where it didn't even work your abs. It was a big thing that like you thrust onto your stomach, and that was supposed to give you six-pack abs, right? Or like a thing that you wrapped around your stomach. I remember, it might have been like even Jackie Chan was selling this. It was a thing that just you put this pack on your abs and it would electrically stimulate your abdominal muscles to contract. Instead of just doing an ab exercise like a crunch. But none of these would actually give you six-pack abs. What I mentioned is the way that you would actually get six-pack abs, and honest people who are trying to sell you correct fitness advice will tell you abs are made in the kitchen, not the gym. You see abs because you remove the fat that is covering them. So if you don't have visible abs, you can exercise them to try to make them bigger, or you can probably in a much quicker amount of time diet down your excess body fat, and then with the abs that you have will already be visible. So the ab exercises are useful, but really to people who already have a low body fat percentage, not to people who are carting around like a beer keg instead of a six-pack on their bellies. For them, they need a diet. But we see this same thing occurring in many different disciplines, in many different fields. It's not just fitness. Fitness is one that I think crosses a lot of bounds and just seems to be full of snake oil salesmen, different kinds of products that will improve the libido, things like that. But we get the same thing in, say, music. You'll see ads for, hey, you can learn to play guitar in 6 weeks. It's like, there's no way anyone is learning to play guitar, at least on my level, in 6 weeks. Not in 6 months. 6 years, easy if you actually practice, but no way that you're going to be able to learn the instrument in 6 weeks. You may be able to learn something in 6 weeks, but you won't be a professional. So anything that sells you these kinds of shortcuts is selling you only part of the process, and what is missing is the other part of whatever that process is. So with abs, it's not just doing crunches, right? You can do a couple sets of crunches every day, and that will, maybe make your abs a little bit bigger, but you really have to do the whole other thing, which is have a diet that is in a caloric deficit for you that will make you lose weight so that the abs that you have become more visible. And that stuff is just ignored because dieting is much more complex. It's much more difficult. People hate to diet. They love the idea of an easy sell. Like if I could just do this for 5 minutes a day, it's easy for me to find 5 minutes a day, then I could have abs. But the truth is that you have to have willpower all day long in order to stick to a diet, which is going to help you lose the weight to have the abs. So with guitar, you could learn some things in 6 weeks, but you're not going to learn all the things that are necessary for you to actually develop and progress into a complete guitarist, a complete artist. It's like, yeah, man, I learned these couple chords, learn these songs in 6 weeks, and it's like, great, but you don't know how to do anything else, and you can't read music. You have no idea what the chords mean. You have no idea of music theory. All that stuff takes a long time to learn. It takes a long time to pick up those skills. And it's the same thing with writing. Like someone says, how do you write a book? People sell lots of kind of shortcuts to writing screenplays and stuff like that. Here's the simple formula to writing a story or a screenplay. You just need this, this, and this. It's like, well, it's easy to get someone's attention with the idea of simplicity, but the reality is often more complex. The truth is, it's very difficult to write a book. It takes a lot of practice to get your prose to where it needs to be. That's something that there's no just specific formula for. People often ask me like for a formula for, plot and things like that. I'm like, I can give you plot structures. I can give you what other people have done, but that's not going to make your book good. Only you practicing and putting an effort to it and trying to be creative are going to make your book actually become something which is good. And the other thing about writing is that focusing on the techniques really is just half the game. The other half of the game is actually focusing on your process. So if you know how stories are constructed and you've listened to my analysis videos and you've done your own done your own excellent analysis of things, you have a really good idea about how plot structure is supposed to work, and you're ready to write the book, and you're going to end up being a little bit upset that you don't finish the book, because there's more to writing the book than knowing the techniques that go into writing the book. It's a more complex process. And the main thing is that people are often not willing to sit down and do the work. They're not willing to sit down at the computer, at the word processor for a couple hours a day, every single day without any kind of breaks, and just put the book out and be willing to take their time to get it. They hear that some author wrote a book in a week, and that's great, but he's an experienced author. What most people need to do if they're looking to get into this game is to commit to just doing the work. Do the work day in, day out, and you'll have a book. Not only will you have a book, but you'll get better and better as you go, and the book will end up being something creative and original to you, not just something that's sticking to a formula. I realize that having a formula, it gets people feeling very confident because they feel like there's some kind of rule set they're adhering to towards making a good story, but it's not what's going to make the book happen. What's really going to make the book happen is you just doing it, you putting in the work. And to that end, I do have a book coming out in March. It's called The Keys to Prolific Creation. You could pre-order it down below. It's $2.99. And I go through all of this kind of stuff. The idea that you need to spend your time, you need to commit your time to actually being creative, to actually working on your projects, and that is how you achieve outcome. And there's a whole bunch of other things too that have to do with mindset. So the 5-minute abs mindset is this belief that there's some kind of shortcut, there's some kind of secret to doing it, and the truth is there's no real secret. Even though this is almost structured as if like it's a book of secrets, it's a book of experienced statements, because I've been on the other side of experiencing all this stuff. There's no shortcuts, but there are definite ways to complete your project, and these are time-tested, these work. These are the things that you need to know to design your creative process to work for you so that you can actually finish your book or finish whatever project you're looking to finish, your album, whatever it happens to be. So please check that out. That comes out in March, The Keys to Prolific Creativity. And I will see you guys next time.